Listen, let me tell you something. Life is not about luck, it's about focus. You don't just wake up one day and everything falls into place. No, you got to set your mind on what you want, lock in, and go after it like your life depends on it. Because, truth be told, it does. If you want to achieve anything meaningful in life, you have to learn how to focus. Focus is not just about paying attention. It's about being intentional with your energy, your time, and your thought. Too many people want success, but they can't sit still long enough to build anything real. They start something, then jump to something else. They say they have big goals, but they're too busy scrolling through social media, watching other people live their dreams instead of creating their own. Distractions are everywhere, and they're not always obvious. It's not just social media, TV, or wasting time on things that don't matter. Distractions can be the people around you, the ones who constantly bring negativity into your life. It can be the doubts in your own mind, the thoughts that tell you, maybe this isn't for me, or what if I fail? Every time you entertain those distractions, you pull yourself further away from what you're trying to achieve. Successful people have one thing in common. They know how to shut out the noise. They don't let outside opinions dictate their actions. They don't allow temporary setbacks to make them lose sight of the bigger picture. They don't waste time comparing themselves to others because they understand that their journey is theirs alone. They focus on their work, their growth, and their goals. The problem is most people don't even realize how unfocused they are. They wake up and immediately start reacting to the world instead of taking control of their own day. They check their phones, respond to messages, get caught up in things that have nothing to do with their purpose. Before they know it, half the day is gone and they haven't made a single step toward their goals. This cycle repeats over and over until months and years pass and they're in the same place they started. If you want something different, you have to do something different. You have to take control of your focus. Because the truth is, you're either building your dream or helping someone else build theirs. Your mind is just like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But just like any muscle, it doesn't grow by accident. It grows through effort, discipline, and consistency. If you don't train it, it stays weak. And a weak mind makes weak decisions, settles for less, and gives up when things get hard. That's why focus is so important. Every time you discipline yourself to concentrate on your goals, you're strengthening your mind. Every time you push past distractions, you're conditioning yourself to stay locked in. Most people don't realize how much power their mind actually has. They think intelligence or talent is what separates successful people from everyone else. But that's not true. It's the ability to focus. It's the ability to direct their thoughts, their energy, and their actions toward what they want without letting the world pull them in 100 different directions. The mind works like a lens. If you focus it on something specific, you start to see opportunities, ideas, and solutions that were always there but hidden by distractions. Think about it. If you go to the gym once a month, you're not going to see results. If you practice a skill only when you feel like it, you're not going to improve. The same applies to your mind. If you don't train it daily, if you don't challenge it, if you don't feed it with the right thoughts and habits, it stays the same. This is why people get stuck. They want to change their life, but they're not willing to change their thinking. They're waiting for motivation instead of training their mind to be disciplined. Strengthening your mind takes work. It means pushing past frustration, doubts, and setbacks. It means learning to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. It means building the ability to focus so deeply on what you want that nothing can shake you from your path. The stronger your mind gets, the more unstoppable you become. When your focus is weak, your mind becomes a breeding ground for doubt, fear, and excuses. It doesn't take much to knock you off track. The moment something gets difficult, you start second-guessing yourself. You start questioning if you're good enough, if you're capable, if it's even worth it. That's how people get stuck in a cycle of hesitation and regret. Instead of moving forward, they stand still, paralyzed by their own thoughts. Fear is nothing more than misplaced focus. When you focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right, you convince yourself that failure is inevitable. You start imagining obstacles that don't even exist yet. You talk yourself out of opportunities before you even try. This is how so many people stay in the same place for years. It's not because they don't have potential. It's because their focus is on all the reasons why something won't work instead of figuring out how to make it work. Excuses come from the same place. When your mind is weak, it looks for an easy way out. It finds reasons to delay, to avoid discomfort, to justify staying the same. You tell yourself you don't have enough time, enough money, enough experience, but the truth is, you're just letting distractions control your decisions. People who stay focused don't waste time making excuses. They find solutions. They figure it out. They use what they have and make it work. The moment you start strengthening your focus, everything changes. You stop giving attention to things that drain your energy. You stop letting fear dictate your choices. You stop making excuses and start taking action. Most people don't reach their goals, not because they aren't capable, but because they never developed the mental strength to push through their doubts. They allow distractions, fear, and excuses to rob them of their future. If you want something bad enough, you have to fight for it. You have to train your mind to stay locked in no matter what tries to pull you away. True progress happens when you commit and lock in. The problem is most people never fully commit. They start something, get excited for a little while, but the moment it gets difficult or takes longer than expected, they lose interest. They start looking for shortcuts, easier options, or something new that seems more exciting. That's why they stay stuck, constantly moving but never really going anywhere. They never give themselves enough time to master anything because they're too busy jumping from one thing to the next. Commitment is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. When you lock in on a goal and refuse to quit, that's when things start to change. It doesn't mean everything will go smoothly, and it definitely doesn't mean success will happen overnight. But it does mean you'll keep moving forward no matter what. You'll push through the days when you don't feel like it. You'll work when nobody's watching. You'll keep showing up even when progress feels slow, because you understand that real success isn't about speed, it's about consistency. Most people underestimate what they can accomplish if they just stay focused long enough. They quit too soon. They convince themselves that if something isn't happening fast, it must not be meant for them. But the truth is, everything great takes time. Whether it's building a career, growing a business, getting in shape, or mastering a skill, the people who win are the ones who refuse to give up. Distractions will always be there. Doubt will always try to creep in. Challenges will come, and sometimes you'll feel like nothing is working. But if you stay locked in, you'll realize that progress is happening, even when you can't see it yet. Every effort, every small step, every bit of work you put in is building something bigger. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they don't stay committed long enough to see the results. If you want something bad enough, the only way to get it is to lock in and keep going. Eliminating distractions and feeding your mind with growth is the difference between success and staying stuck. Most people don't realize how much their daily habits shape their future. They spend hours scrolling through social media, watching TV, or engaging in meaningless conversations, then wonder why they're not making progress. Every distraction you entertain is pulling you further away from your goals. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you're delaying your own success. Your mind becomes what you feed it. If you constantly consume negativity, news that fills you with fear, people who complain all the time, conversations that add no value, you start to absorb that energy. You start thinking small, doubting yourself, and believing that success is only for a lucky few. But if you surround yourself with positivity, knowledge, and people who push you to be better, your mindset starts to shift. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You develop a problem-solving mentality instead of making excuses. You start believing in yourself at a level that forces you to take action. Growth is intentional. You don't just wake up one day with a stronger mind. You have to train it by choosing what you allow into your space. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to people who inspire and motivate you. Spend time around those who are where you want to be. Remove anything that drains your energy or keeps you from becoming your best self. The more you do this, the sharper your focus becomes. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they can keep the same habits and still get different results. If you want a new level of success, you have to let go of the things that no longer serve you. You have to be willing to change what you consume, who you listen to, and how you spend your time. Every decision you make is either feeding your growth or feeding your distractions. The choice is yours. A strong mind creates a powerful life. Everything you want, success, confidence, discipline, resilience, starts in your mind. The way you think shapes the way you move. If your mindset is weak, your results will be weak. If your mindset is strong, nothing can stop you. Most people never reach their full potential, not because they aren't capable, but because they let their own thoughts hold them back. They let fear, doubt, and excuses control their actions instead of taking control of their mind. A strong mind isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. It comes from pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. It comes from doing things even when you don't feel like it. It comes from failing, learning, and trying again. It's not about having all the answers or feeling confident all the time. It's about deciding that no matter what happens, you won't break. That no matter how many obstacles come your way, you'll keep moving forward. Discipline is what strengthens the mind. When you train yourself to stay committed, to show up every day, to keep going when things get tough, you develop mental toughness. The problem is most people quit too soon. They let temporary discomfort stop them. They let frustration make them walk away from their dreams. They allow the smallest setbacks to shake their belief in themselves. But people with strong minds don't fold under pressure. They rise to the challenge. They keep pushing until they find a way. Life will always test you. There will always be distractions, obstacles, and moments where you feel like giving up. But when your mind is strong, you don't let those things break you. You stay focused, you stay committed. You remind yourself why you started in the first place. The stronger your mind gets, the more control you have over your future. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline. You stop looking for shortcuts and start putting in the real work. You stop letting life happen to you and start making life happen for you.